Hey everybody, welcome to the Film Forum. This is the first show. It's a place for cinematic banter. It's pretty much a pretty simple film forum show. And as of right now, this is my only forum. This is the smart, the funny, the wonderfully big-breasted Justin Pencina.
That's me. Hello.
That's you.
How you doing?
On any normal circumstance, we're probably going to have more people, but our good friend who was supposed to do this unfortunately couldn't, Valerie Weaver. But just to let you know, for a shameless plug, she is running for finance coordinator of the PSGA, and I think you should all vote for her because she's a great person. All right, so pretty much let's get into it.
All right then.
All right, this is going to be the first issue right here. And I don't really know what the issues are. Oh yeah, okay. Here's issue number 1 right here. All right, so basically, the whole gist of this issue is we've been seeing a lot of remakes in Hollywood lately. Just a few of them are King Kong. Yeah, I know. King Kong that Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings are doing. Everybody knows about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Tim Burton's doing these. Guess Who just came out, which is a classic remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And I found out that Mick G, the guy who did Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels 2, that wonderful director,
Yeah.
he's actually doing a remake of Revenge of the Nerds.
Really?
Yeah. So pretty much the gist of this whole question is, there's a lot of people who watch movies that think that these movies are complete classics. And I'm the type of person who thinks that classics should be left alone, but it doesn't seem like Hollywood is leaving these classics alone. Is there anything sacred in Hollywood?
Yeah,
Right there. Is there anything sacred in Hollywood?
the most sacred thing in Hollywood is the almighty dollar. And the fact of the matter is, remaking something has got a marketable audience already set up. I mean, you do the same thing with a franchise. You take something where everybody who loved Revenge of the Nerds is sure going to go out to see it, whether or not it sucks, and they know they're going to get the ticket sales for it.
Yeah, but what's the end? I mean, is there some kind of is there one movie out there, be it The Wizard of Oz? Take The Wizard of Oz for example. Okay, The Wizard of Oz. Everybody knows The Wizard of Oz is a classic. It's a childhood favorite of mine. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in purchase who know it's a childhood favorite of theirs. And I know they did The Wiz, but I don't really consider that a remake. If they grabbed Jessica Alba to play Dorothy and a bunch of other, let's just say like the 3 main characters, main guys, like Stifler and Jason Biggs and some other, guy from American Pie, and those were the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow. Would it take that for moviegoers and even people in Hollywood to say, okay, that's it?
No, because crappy movies are out all the time, and it doesn't stop people from making crappy movies. It really does come down to who they think they can market it to, and some remakes are worth making. I mean, sometimes there is value in retelling a story, but you got to put a twist on it. I mean, whose brilliant idea was it to make Psycho over again, shot by shot? What value was added by doing that?
Absolutely none. But there was a huge critical backlash for that movie. And has Gus Van Sant even recovered?
Yeah, isn't he working on something?
Yeah, directors are always going to be working on stuff.
The critics nobody listens to anymore because they want to go see, they want to go see Jessica Simpson, in Dukes of Hazzard.
You're getting ahead of yourself. We're going to talk about that later.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, do we really need a remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Gene Wilder isn't even dead yet.
He's practically dead.
I know he's practically dead.
But Tim Burton, granted, his last remake was a disaster, but at least he tried to do something different, and with the story, it's better than remaking Planet of the Apes and doing it exactly the same. And Tim Burton has, as a director, has good films behind him who, let him take a chance on doing it and retelling a story. I mean, the first one was a musical. If he doesn't do it as a musical, it's at least different. Now, if they get up there and they're singing, and then, what did he do? He didn't bring his edge to it. And, I mean, there's always room to retell stories. Stories get retold. That's how they get passed down. But each storyteller should put their own flavor into it and make it something unique and interesting, and not just regurgitate what we get. I mean, Charlie's Angels would have been, if they didn't buy the franchise, they could have remade the script and just called it three, crime fighters.
Okay.
And it'd be the same thing.
Well,
the same...
Charlie's Angels is a pretty overdone motif to begin with, but now let me ask you this then. I know you're pacifist, and I know you're not into violence, and I know you're.
I'm into screen violence.
Okay, but I don't know if you're a huge protester or anything like that. Let me ask you this: what film would it take for them to remake to actually let you get up and say we can't do this anymore and actually protest the film being out?
I'd have to say Glenn or Glenda.
Really?
Yeah. We remake ourselves, start remaking Ed Wood, we know we've got a problem.
See, they're already remaking films from the 80s. Personally, if they ever make a remake of Casablanca or my favorite film of all time, The Godfather, I think heads are going to start to roll because I think those films are sacred. They should be left alone, and I think Willy Wonka's sacred should be left alone. The whole point of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was the race relations. There are no race relations between Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac. And there are people who will actually argue that, okay, yeah, it'll give people a better audience, or it'll give the movie a better audience. Well, that's bullshit. It'll give it a better audience, but does that film actually need a better audience?
No. Remakes are hit or miss in that I really believe especially science fiction deserves to be remade because the whole point of science fiction is to tell the future, and we reach the future, and it's nothing like what is described in the film.
Would you like to see a remake of Star Wars?
No, because Star Wars wasn't science fiction; it was fantasy.
See,
now I'd see a remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Really?
You could do a remake of that, and it's a film that
Would you buy a ticket to see the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still?
Depending on who did it and how they did it.
Okay.
Then,
all right.
Yeah. If I thought it was going to be a good film, then yeah, I'd go see it because that's a story that's worth retelling. If you can read, I saw Planet of the Apes. I saw that in the theater. I rushed out to see that because it was a good film and it deserved a retelling, and just because.
All right. We're gonna move on because I already don't like you. Oh yeah, and I heard the phone ring. I know that I've advertised a call-in section. The call-in section is going to come on in the middle of the show, so just hold all your calls until then because you're not going to get through. I'm not going to tell the tech to answer the phone. So I don't care if the phone rings until the cows come home. I'm not going to answer it until I'm damn good and ready to answer the phone.
The cows come home?
Yeah, you've never heard that expression?
I've heard that expression.
Shut up,
I just thought you could do better. What's the next topic?
Well, you do better. While I get the next topic up, you do better.
Then the cows come home?
Yeah.
All right, then I let the phones ring until my nipples bleed, but I'm not picking them up.
That's a good one. All right. This one reads: good director plus dead franchise equals success. I'm gonna put this somewhere. No, screw it. We'll do that another time. But basically, the whole thing about this issue is that there was a rumor going around. It was spread by a pretty good source that Quentin Tarantino was set to direct in the next Friday the 13th movie. Now, I wouldn't believe that upon first, reading it and hearing about it. But I looked at the source, and the source is very credible. And I know that Quentin has a lot of movies that he holds dearly to his heart, and types of movies that he holds dearly to his heart, and he'd like to basically do his own versions of those. So I kind of believed it. Now, I was told today that these rumors aren't true, and apparently he denied it, but it allowed me to refabricate the question that, will it take a good director? Does it take a good director to revitalize a dead franchise? Because I personally think that another director, Christopher Nolan, is a good director. I loved Memento. I wasn't crazy about Insomnia, but I thought it was well done.
I'd agree.
He's doing Batman Begins. It's coming out, May or July or something like that? It's coming out then, and he's basically looking to revitalize a Batman franchise, which was pretty much killed off by Joel Schumacher, because basically Joel Schumacher took everything that Tim Burton did and turned it fluorescent. And that pretty much, well, not that, but bad writing and everything killed the franchise. So let me ask you this. Does it take a good director to revitalize a dead franchise to get success in that franchise? Let me ask you that.
While the American movie-going public is willing to go to see a lot of crap, there's a limit to what they'll go to see. And, 4 Batman movies, half of which suck, yeah, they're going to stop going. And putting in a new director who can hopefully bring back some artistic integrity to the films should bring people back to the films, because a franchise and idea only goes so long, and then it really rests on how good the film is. And would you go see a film that you know was boring and sucked, but you know liked just the concept? Not necessarily. And Batman's a great concept, but I didn't feel the need to see him in the theater when they turned into just, you know, blockbuster action, crappy script, crappy direction. But, you know,
so we were talking about this earlier. Take a film franchise that is dead. It's basically dead. You mentioned Star Trek earlier. Star Trek is a dead franchise. First Contact was not a success. I don't care how any Star Trek fan wants to spin it. It was not a success. All right.
First Contact was the beginning of the downfall of it. They beat themselves into the ground.
What was the last one? Nemesis?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't a success either.
It's horrible. But yeah, I mean, if you brought in somebody who actually had a decent script and had an artistic vision for the film,
but I'm not talking about the script. I'm talking about the direction. Okay, because the auteur theory basically states that the director is the artist behind the film. Right. So if they partnered up the Star Trek franchise with a really good director.
Well, I'm assuming
I'm going to say P.T. Anderson because I think P.T. Anderson is an excellent director. If P.T. Anderson decided to do a Star Trek movie, would it not only be a good movie, but would it revitalize the franchise?
I think it would, because I think that franchises tend to rely on the characters, and they rely on people being aware of what the characters are, and you lose sight of the film. You can't watch X-Men 2 without having seen X-Men, and you really can't watch X-Men without having read the comic, and you certainly can't see the X-Files without having seen the show. So that part of the franchises rely solely on familiarity. But the next step of it is the actual artistic work. And now you can take a film like any of the Star Treks and say, you know, yeah, if you watched all the episodes, Spock dying means a lot more to you than if you hadn't, but at the same time, the films can still be good. And if you bring in somebody to actually...
See, maybe Star Trek's a bad example because they do have a huge following.
Yeah, but even with a huge following, I mean, it's just the perfect example of how a huge following that's managed to keep this franchise alive for 30-plus years failed because the last series and the last few movies have all been crap. And people don't watch crap longer than
people do watch crap. People do watch crap, okay? All right, there's a reason that the Fast and the Furious got a sequel.
Yeah.
It's because people like to watch crap. And I don't want to be like the angry guy that just says, hey, the American public doesn't know what they like. The American public obviously does know what they like, but I happen to think that a lot of the American public likes crap.
No, that's pretty much all they're given, but that's a whole other issue.
That's true, okay. But so basically, are you trying to argue that it doesn't matter what the content is as long as the director's good?
I think the director brings good content. I think that if you bring in a director who is an auteur, they're immediately going to make the film something of their own and should be as good as any other film, minus, you know...
All right. I agree in some ways, but let me ask you this then. Since he was the original example, if under the assumption that Quentin Tarantino's an auteur, what in your mind would Quentin Tarantino Presents Friday the 13th be like?
Quentin Tarantino is the master of genre films. Each of his films is the condensation of an entire genre into a few hours, and a Quentin Tarantino 80s horror film would be fantastic. It would be great. It would be all the stuff that we love about 80s horror films, you know, all the cheesy, lines, and the girl who has sex gets killed, and all that stuff is all going to be in there and done just completely stylized.
They did that in Jason X, though. I mean, Jason X easily could have gone down as the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but
but it didn't have the Tarantino flair, which is what's amazing about Tarantino is that his films on one level suck. Like Kill Bill really didn't have a lot to it.
So I like
on one level, but then on another level, it's absolutely amazing.
I've had arguments, almost like arguments, like about to rip his throat out with my roommate Doug Flo. He better be watching right now, or I'm going to cut out every single one of his dreadlocks while he sleeps tonight. Yeah. Anyway, about why I think Kill Bill is a good movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. But I can understand why people say Tarantino's not original because he takes from other things. I mean, from what I understand about his next movie, Inglourious Basterds, it's pretty much going to be The Dirty Dozen.
Right. And that's fine if you don't claim to be original. If you say, what I'm doing is condensing down a genre into something new and, taking a decade's worth of films and putting it into one little capsule for you, and you do a good job with it, there's nothing wrong with that. If he's not striving to create something super original, you can't fault him for not being original. It's not what he set out to do. At least I don't think it's what he set out to do.
All right, you want to move on to the next topic?
Let's move.
It doesn't matter. It's my show. I'm going to move on to the next topic when I want to move on to the next topic.
You know, you do have an audience.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't. No one's watching.
All right.
Kidding me anymore. All right.
Edit.
You know, whatever happened to me saying that I wanted the show to be professional? I don't know. Oh, this is a good one. What, in your mind... You see that? All right. What, in your mind, is the most overrated film of 2004?
I don't know if it was technically 2004, but I'm going to have to say Hotel Rwanda.
Really?
I'm going to get flack for this. Because
Hotel Rwanda?
Hotel Rwanda. First of all, Hotel Rwanda was 10 years too late to be of any use. It's no good having a film about an atrocity that we did nothing to stop 10 years after the fact. Great. Nobody cares anymore. we had so much time to step in and do something, and we did nothing, and now we're going to feel bad about it? So no, I reject the film on that principle. But then furthermore, it was Spielbergian crap. It was ripped. It was Schindler's List set in Africa, really.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
And why? Why? What was the point in making it? Granted, Don Cheadle was an excellent actor, but I think he could be an excellent actor in a film that's actually decent. You know, the film felt like it was.
See, a lot of people love that film, and I guess you could say that's the reason that they call it overrated.
Yeah, because a lot of people love that film, and I think that. Yeah, it's not too terrible of a film. Mm-hmm. It certainly was watchable. I saw it in the theater. I paid $10 for it, and I didn't ask for my money back. So it's got that going for it. But well,
you want to know what mine is?
Sure.
I think you already know what mine is. I've told a couple of people this. You know, this isn't the first movie that I've heard somebody say. I mean, talking about Hotel Rwanda, that was very critically acclaimed and stuff like that. That it was overrated. I was talking to Andrew Jupin earlier, and he told me, if he were to be on the show today, the question or the answer to this question that he would have would be Sideways, which blew me away because I've heard people say bad things about Sideways. I've never heard anybody call it overrated, but his argument really really held wind as to why he thinks it's overrated. I can agree with him. I don't necessarily think it's overrated. I thought it was a great film, but based on the reaction of the culture to that movie. Yeah, you could call it overrated. The most overrated movie of 2004, in my estimation, was none other than Napoleon Dynamite.
Really?
I hated Napoleon Dynamite. I didn't hate it too much. No, I mean, I already hated it when I saw it in the theater. Okay? I sat there and I didn't laugh. Then when it came out on video, I'm like, maybe I'll give the movie a second chance. Maybe it's funny upon a second viewing. So I rented it because I rent movies for free because I work at this. Whatever. Yeah, of course. I gotta pimp out my free rentals, just like I pimp out the discount from Best Buy. But anyway, I didn't laugh, and so I told my boss, and I said, Mary Ellen, this movie's terrible. You're not gonna laugh. She loved it. Okay, fine. Everybody has their own opinions, but she actually made me watch it. I mean, granted, she didn't force me, with a gun to watch it. She made me watch it while the customers were there in the middle of the show, or in the middle of work because it's PG and we can show that. And said, I dare you to watch this movie and not laugh.
Oh, well, of course you're
not. No, I didn't do it out of spite. I did it because the show. I did it because the movie sucks.
How could you not find it funny?
I didn't find it funny.
How could it not be funny?
I didn't find it funny. And I think one of the main reasons why a lot of people found it funny, I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about a lot of people in this culture, like the 16-year-old teeny boppers that found it so hilarious and they're making web groups about Napoleon Dynamite and blogs about Napoleon Dynamite, is because it was an MTV film, and MTV is promoting the living crap out of it on their network. And when you are a 16-year-old or a 14-year-old, whatever MTV says is cool. And that's the only way around it. And if MTV pops into your head enough times that Napoleon Dynamite is a cool hit movie that's really hilarious and really great, they're going to believe it. So I think the majority of the viewing audience, upon it coming out on video at least, thought that it was great based on what MTV said. And that's just completely
the first person to badmouth any corporate media organization, but I will grant them that maybe they got it right. Maybe it just really is a good movie and they happen to pick up on it.
What's funny about it?
What's funny about it?
No, seriously, what's funny about it? Because I've seen this movie about 7 times already, and I can't find something that's funny about the damn movie.
It's funny to watch social outcasts try so hard to make their way through something as meaningless as high school, and the whole film
when
film is just meaningless because at the end of it, And what? They graduate and move on, and that's the end. And what?
They didn't graduate.
They're going to, and none of them are gonna. Whatever. It's high school. Come on.
No, that was funny in Angus. Okay, that was funny in Angus. But like the majority of the people I talked to are like, "Oh, well, why'd you think this movie was funny?" It was funny because he's such a dork. What are we? In middle school? What are we all jocks in middle school where we have to make fun of the dork? It's just so stupid.
Yes, just because some people don't have the verbal skills to describe why they think something is funny doesn't mean it isn't.
But then there's the people who
will be the first to admit that it's not fun to be made fun of, but it sure is fun to make fun of other people.
Well, that
You're
sucks.
allowed to make fun of characters in films.
Okay, yeah, you are, but like,
point.
It's great. Like, it's easy to make fun of Napoleon Dynamite, but I still didn't think it was funny. And then there was people who were like, "Oh, well, it's funny because of the one-liners." There's no one-liners in that movie. He says "gosh" all the time and like. And stupid. That's the way people talk. I don't know anybody who doesn't talk like that. I guess
doesn't talk like he does.
I guess that must mean that
like
I'm friends with a bunch
autistic. The dude's got no social skills.
I'm talking
whatsoever.
about his one. I'm talking about his one-liners.
Yeah, but it's not his one-liners. It's his delivery of them.
I agree that he did a good job in the movie. I definitely didn't think it was funny. I definitely think it was the most overrated film of 2004.
I think it's a wonderful example of how you can start with a short film and make a black and white short, and turn it into a success. It's a Hollywood success story, and there are so few. Look at how many films are churned out from just the studio machine, and how many are actually independently done and picked up from just a filmmaker.
There are few and far between. That gives it credence, but I still didn't like the movie. I'm not gonna like the movie if I saw it again after you told me that, and it's not out of spite, it's because it's a bad movie.
Yeah, it cost more to shoot.
And I know there's people out there that agree with me, and I know there's a lot of people out there that completely disagree with me. But I don't care.
If you disagree, call in later. If you agree with me, don't call in if you agree with him.
No. Call in if you agree with me.
Anyway.
We have to make this guy look like an ass. All right. I'm the host of this show. Don't host the show. This is my show. I created it. I produced it. I put all the flyers out there that says Ashton Simpson kiss my ass. It's true. Okay. Classic TV made into films. Is it worth the admission price? All right. Let me get this.
Start off by saying no, because $10.50 for a movie.
Okay, yeah, there are very few movies that are actually worth $10.50, but still, even say that it's $8.50. There are a lot of classic TV shows that are made into movies, and I know the reason you're going to say, and I know the reason that a lot of people out there would say it's to make money. Fine, I can deal with that. Fine. Starsky and Hutch was made. Let's see. I mean, I've got a whole list right here of movies that are going to be made either this year or are going to be debuting this year or premiering this year or next year. All right. First of all, we've got Bewitched. Okay, classic show where Nicole Kidman plays Samantha and Will Ferrell plays Darren. But it's also got Shirley MacLaine, Michael Caine, Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, and Jason Schwartzman. Now, really? I love Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell. I love Will Ferrell. I mean, I love pretty much everybody in this. I'm not huge on Nicole Kidman, but what are you going to do? Next one. Everybody's heard about this one. Okay, maybe not everybody, but it's pretty much going around. Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Coming out in 2005 with Sean William Scott, Stifler, as Bo Duke. It's got Johnny Knoxville as Luke Duke. Jessica Simpson as Daisy Duke. Burt Reynolds as Boss Hogg.
That's nice.
All right. And Willie Nelson as Uncle Jesse.
Burt Reynolds needs all the help he can get at this point.
Okay. Next one, coming out in 2006, is I Dream of Jeannie. And as of right now, the only thing I could find about casting is that it casted Kate Hudson as Jeannie. Kate Hudson, okay. The Honeymooners is probably going to be the most controversial one.
Seriously?
Because what they're doing with the Honeymooners is that they're switching the races around. So Norton and Ralph are black. I don't know how the people are going to, respond to this. I personally don't see it as that big of a deal.
Okay, but at least going along with the remakes, at least they're doing something different. At least they're trying, and it's got the potential to be something different.
Okay, all right. It's got Cedric the Entertainer as Ralph, Mike Epps as Ed Norton, Gabrielle Union as Alice, and Regina Hall as Trixie. And I've heard not too long ago that they're actually going to make a Dallas movie.
Really?
From what I heard, they want to get the original cast together. Or at least,
Stupid.
I think I don't agree with it.
There is a Dallas with the original cast. It's called Dallas.
But I also read online that Michael Bay, everybody's favorite director, Michael Bay, because he's made such classics as The Rock,
The Rock,
and Armageddon. I did like The Rock.
A decent film.
Okay, but anyway, I don't want to have this show
These
just
things
be me
tend to
ripping
come.
on people.
Speaking of Armageddon, these things come in waves, along with the remakes, along with everything. It all comes in waves. Okay. And if you notice, Armageddon came out the same year that there was Deep Impact, and NBC did something about asteroids.
Okay.
They feed off of each other,
but,
so you have limited success with one television remake, and it's going to spawn a million because they're all there. The studios own all the rights to it. They have the characters and the scripts. They don't have to develop anything.
But
all they have to do.
He's apparently making a live-action movie, The Transformers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now that might be hot.
I love your reaction. That's great.
Dude, that's going to be hot.
Is it worth the price of admission? I mean,
for live-action Transformers, possibly.
Okay,
yeah,
for live-action Transformers, but say, okay,
Bewitched with that
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard, no. No.
Okay, you're gonna be. Are you seriously gonna be dropping $850 for a movie like Bewitched?
Bewitched with that cast, I just might, because Will Ferrell made Elf funny. I mean,
I like the dude. Yeah, I like that. I love Will Ferrell.
The dude is funny, and everything he's in, he's good. So
okay.
That I would.
What if I tell you this?
The rest of them.
What if I tell you this? The Dukes of Hazzard is being directed by not Broken Lizard, but Jay from Broken Lizard.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's way.
I don't know, because I love Club Dread, and I'm the only one out there who actually likes Club Dread. And come on, Super Troopers is I must
Super
have
Troopers
seen that
is
movie
great
10 times a day for months on end, but it's still, I don't know, it's not worth the price of admission. I'm not risking $850 on it. I'll rent it when it comes out. I'll see it on cable. You know, it's just not worth paying. It's not worth the big screen. It
seems to be just the running trend with these types of movies that, sure, they might be good for a rental. Starsky and Hutch was good for a rental.
Yeah.
It's not worth $8.50 to go see. And I'll tell you this right now, just maybe The Honeymooners, maybe Transformers, but like none of that list that I just read off to you, I based on what I've heard, is worth the $8.
But look at the way that a lot of films make money. Is that if you're not a blockbuster, you don't make money in the theater. The cost, even when they say it grossed however many $1 million and it costs this much to produce, distribution and advertising and all of this eats away that money. The way they make their money is on rentals, because they can license the DVDs for whatever they want, and the companies pay them, and we pay it to rent it, and they make their money back that way. So no, a lot of these films I don't think are meant to be seen in the theater. They're meant to be out there for a while, and they go to DVD.
Any classic show that you'd like to see?
Any classic show that I would like to see as a movie? I guess we can call The Simpsons classic at this point.
That's going to be a movie.
Yeah,
apparently, I don't know. I've read at least. I'm sitting here talking like I'm actually from the film industry. I've read online news and rumor groups that my credibility just completely dropped. That's okay. Just like pretty much everybody else out there, news and rumor groups, Cinema Confidential, Ain't It Cool News, any of these sites, that Matt Groening has decided to actually do the Simpsons movie, and that every time he sat down to write the Simpsons movie, it turned into a Simpsons episode. No. So he is doing the Simpsons.
I would like to see the series end, because it was funny a long time ago, it was funny a few years ago, and it's just been going downhill. And not to go off on too much of a tangent, what do you do after 16 years? But a movie frees them up to do something. Because
South Park worked.
South Park was an excellent movie. And if you look at The Simpsons, if we're going to do The Simpsons, they were funny when they were longer. When they cut the show by 2 minutes, they lost so much. Because they cut out all the little funny little jokes.
You know, if they ever make I mean, this is never ever going to happen, but if they ever make a film version of The Wonder Years, I will be pissed. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines now to anybody who wants to call. If you guys want to talk about anything that's relevant to the show or any of the issues that we've talked about so far, feel free to call in at 6994. If you want to talk to Justin or me, you want to disagree with us, you want to agree with us, whatever you want. We got a call? All right. Who we got a call from? Anybody? All right.
Well, in the meantime,
we'll move on to the next topic as of right now. We'll just move on to the next topic. And if anybody calls, we'll just take the call. This is a great one. Here it is. Everybody's been talking about it ever since the Oscars. You see it? You can read it. Was Martin Scorsese snubbed at this year's Oscars when he lost the Best Director award to Clint Eastwood for $1 Million Baby? Now, okay. Actually, I'm going to let you answer this first because you're the guest. Go ahead.
All right. Fuck the Oscars, man.
Ooh.
I hate the Oscars. It's a bunch of... The Academy is a bunch of people sitting around congratulating themselves for making a lot of money. Titanic won Oscars. Titanic won Oscars.
I hated Titanic.
Dude, Titanic is not a good movie. I don't care what you say. Yeah, it was 2 hours long with special effects. Great. It didn't deserve an Oscar. I don't know. The fact that Jim Carrey has not been nominated, that Eternal Sunshine... I mean, these are good films that are out, but they just don't make that much money. I know we were talking earlier, American Splendor.
All right, Paul Giamatti should have been nominated. This isn't going to be an Oscar rant right now. We can come back to the Oscar rant. I'm going to answer my own question. Okay? I'll tell you why Scorsese wasn't snubbed. I didn't see the movie. Okay? Yeah.
We got Jericho on the line about...
Who?
Jericho, he says.
Jericho?
Is about most overrated movie and Martin Scorsese.
Like Chris Jericho? All right, Jericho.
No, not Chris Jericho.
I love Chris Jericho.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But most overrated movie of the year, I have to agree with you on one thing.
What?
Napoleon Dynamite was awful.
Thank you.
I didn't laugh once the entire fucking movie.
How you like that match?
It was disgusting. The guy was just on the stage, like on the screen, looking hideous. And the humor was just bathroom humor. Can I have your pulse?
Well, there's nothing wrong with bathroom.
But it was done
Super
so
Troopers
poorly.
is bathroom humor, but
it was
as
like
long as it's
watching
in the context of a good movie.
It was like watching this horrific slice of life that no one should be subject to, not even the people in it.
All right.
As far as like what I think the actual most overrated movie of the year was, $1 Million Baby.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Why do you say that?
Well, it was just it seemed to me like Clint Eastwood's last attempt at getting another Oscar, and Hilary Swank gave the most unconvincing role I've seen in a while.
Really?
The movie almost became a piece of shock cinema for me, in my opinion. It went from going to be Rocky. It went from Rocky to one of those god-awful Lifetime TV movies about paralysis.
Hey,
or something.
I love Lifetime movies. No, I don't.
I mean, as far as best director, Scorsese directed a movie that was damn near brilliant. I mean, whether or not you like the story or whether or not you like Scorsese, that movie was well directed, well edited.
Well,
the underscore was just...
The reason that I'd say that he didn't get snubbed, and granted, again, I didn't see the movie, so I can't argue about the actual film, but I didn't like how the fact that throughout the course of the hype of...
Oh, that movie was incredibly overhyped.
Oh, yeah, but the course of the hype before the Oscars was all about how Scorsese never won. Scorsese never won. Scorsese never won. That led me to believe that if Scorsese did win, it might be for the wrong reasons. And the Oscars aren't a cumulative award. It's all about...
It's an award for independent, feat. Yeah,
exactly.
I understand.
I didn't want him to win for the wrong reasons. That's all I'm saying.
You only win for the wrong
Jericho,
reasons.
we gotta let you go. We gotta get to another call.
All right, good.
Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for watching.
One, Bye.
Who's up next? Anybody?
The Oscars, you only win the Oscars for the wrong reasons. It's all about congratulating yourself, and the fact that he never won, so we should give him an Oscar.
Hello.
Yeah, who's this?
Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted or Keanu Reeves in The Matrix?
What?
Who's better?
Wait, what's that now?
Your question?
All right, Keanu Reeves
in
Bill and Ted or The Matrix?
Dude, Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Thank you.
Bill and Ted. At least he had another moron to play off of.
He didn't even have to act for Bill and Ted.
He didn't have to act for the Matrix.
He didn't act for the Matrix.
But he tried to.
The thing about Keanu Reeves is this: he'll be good in a movie if he plays the dumbass who doesn't know what's going on. That worked in Bill and Ted. It worked in the Matrix.
Yeah, but it didn't work in.
But when you see him in Constantine,
I didn't see him in
Okay.
Constantine. The dude
all right, thanks, man. Can we get another one? On to Scorsese again. Yeah, like. I'm sure. Hey, hi. Yo.
Yeah, the thing that really made Napoleon Dynamite bad was, I have to say, the soundtrack.
What?
The soundtrack was horrible.
Oh my god. Yo, we should get some people who actually like the movie to call in just to make
anyone out there?
Yes,
I don't think so.
The soundtrack was horrible.
Thank you. Oh my god.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh my god. Great call. Look, I'm telling you, it was not that good of a movie.
Maybe I'm just coming from the perspective of the dork in high school, and I enjoy seeing the character.
You are a dork. Anybody?
I know, and I take pride in my dorkiness.
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
Am I live?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah. I see you had something posted about Scorsese.
Yeah.
Talking about Scorsese or
Yeah, well, we were talking about whether or not Scorsese got snubbed at this year's Oscars.
snubbed, like with a snub-nosed revolver.
Right.
But like, if you ever seen like Taxi Driver or Raging Bull,
Yeah.
Great movies.
Absolutely.
But I think people give too much credit to Goodfellas. Thought it was great, but it's not the type of movie you can watch over and over and over as Casino, which is much more entertaining. I like when they beat Pesci up with bats at the end.
Mm-hmm.
His mother makes a great red sauce.
All right. Well, you think that Scorsese's over?
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to punch me in the face.
No, that's Raging Bull. I thought you were talking about Casino.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for calling. All right. So, what were we talking about? Oscars. I personally think that if
Actually,
Scorsese.
one more if you want.
Oh yeah. Bring him on. Who's it?
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
This is David. How's it going?
David, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Thanks for watching.
I'm just thinking about the most overrated movie, and
right.
I'm going to get controversy for saying this, but I think it was the re-release of Donnie Darko.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes. I would agree with you on that one.
You
Donnie Darko was a good film, and just because it did well on DVD and not in the theater doesn't necessarily mean it... I mean, great, it was good it was re-released. It would be great to see it in the theater, but there was so much hype that went with it.
David, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, good. The second most overrated film I thought this year was Passion of the Christ. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm starting to
I just
get...
hated
Yeah,
it.
you want to talk about controversy? Let's talk about the Passion of the Christ.
He's just a crazy, crazy man. I just think Mel Gibson just hates Jews.
Oh, Jesus.
The fact that Passion of the Christ, I mean, 5 years ago we were hearing about this, and that there has been word-of-mouth advertising for that film for years before it came out. That alone makes it overhyped. Whether or not it was good, whether or not you enjoy it, whether or not you hate Jews.
Hey,
if
wait,
you're talking about a film 5 years in advance, there's no way it can't be overhyped.
Not to change the subject, but what do you think about the Honeymooners with the addressing domestic violence?
Oh, man. Well, we live in a culture that, honestly, I think we live in a culture that actually embraces the Honeymooners. The majority of the culture embraces the Honeymooners for being a classic show, and I think that's going to translate to film. We also live in a society where, and trust me, I do it enough, that has Tsunami jokes and Helen Keller jokes and Christopher Reeve jokes. It's tasteless stuff translates to film, and people aren't gonna. I don't think it's gonna be as bad as it is. I honestly think that the studios are actually gonna probably censor most of it. They're probably not gonna have nearly as much.
Well, how are they gonna update the Bam Zoom to the Moon thing?
They're probably just gonna say Bam Zoomed in the Moon.
Yeah, that's part of doing a franchise is you don't change the catchphrases. That's why they're catchphrases, because we all want to hear them say it.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching and thanks for calling. Anybody else? All right. Thank you. Yep. Hello? Anybody there?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, this is Adam.
Adam who?
Adam Chef.
I don't know Adam Chef.
What's going on, dude?
What's up?
I personally feel the most overrated movie of the year was Closer.
Closer?
Which I saw this weekend. I thought it was terrible. For a movie that was so vulgar and, completely about sex, I've never been more bored in my life.
Well, did you see Kinsey?
Oh, I did not see Kinsey.
See Kinsey and you'll be even more bored.
For underrated movies, though, I'd have to give that to Fat Albert.
Fat Albert?
Fat Albert was what? Overrated?
Underrated.
Oh, underrated. Oh.
Yeah, it made me feel real good.
Well, I don't think anybody can say that any other movie is more underrated than Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I mean, it didn't get what it should have in terms of awards. It really just didn't. I'm sorry. That was the best movie I saw all year, and until it gets the due that it actually gets.
It has the Jim Carrey curse, and that people in... Again, why I hate the Oscars, because it's personal, and people in the Academy are pissed off that he started with Ace Ventura and The Mask and could actually translate that into a successful movie career.
All right. Hey, Adam.
What's up, dude?
Can I borrow that video of the Ultimate Warrior going nuts at UConn?
It's on my computer.
Okay.
It's quite interesting. To say
Is
the
it really?
least.
I heard he makes fun of gay people.
He says that queering don't make the world work.
I swear to God, man, the Ultimate Warrior is insane. If anybody out there is an old school wrestling fan like I am, actually I'm just a regular wrestling fan, but I grew up with this stuff. The Ultimate Warrior has grown to be completely insane. He actually changed his name to the Ultimate Warrior. Okay, you can't call him Jim Hellwig anymore. All right, Adam, we're gonna have to let you go. We're gonna have another one. I think we got more time for some more calls. What's up? Anybody?
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
Hey, speaking of wrestling.
This is a film discussion. I love wrestling. Yeah, what's up?
How about Predator? Schwarzenegger's best movie.
Predator?
I mean, it might be right behind Conan the Barbarian, but Predator's up there, huh?
I think Predator's up there.
Predator's up there.
Better than the Terminator? Yeah, all right, hang up on him. All right.
I personally, as far as Schwarzenegger, I like The Running Man. That was a good film.
Okay, I agree. I'm not a huge. I like Arnold. I mean, come on. Do you know? I think everybody knows somebody who can quote something from Kindergarten Cop, though.
Yeah.
Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. It's not the tumor. Come on.
But
I don't think it was. I don't think that was his best film. Okay. We got two more calls. All right. Yeah, because that's probably all we have time for is two more. What's up?
I believe Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah. Thanks, man. All right. Yeah. Put him on.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, I actually had a question for you because I know you're in this professor's class, but I was just wondering about your views on Casey Haskins' movie Insights and.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is he watching right now? Because you're probably just gonna get me in trouble.
I don't.
Is he in the room with you right now? Like I'm not. Sure. I've told Haskins I'm not a big fan of his class.
You actually told him that?
Yeah.
That might not go over too big with him.
That's fine because I'm not a big fan of this class. I came literally this close to withdrawing from the class, and the reason I didn't do it is because it's related to my field. I mean, we're both cinema studies majors, and that's sort of a cinema type of class.
What class is he teaching?
Philosophy and film, and I didn't want the W to be on my record. I'm basically going to try to do better, and it's not one of those cases where I don't like the guy because he's giving me bad grades. I don't like the guy because I don't think he really has his own theories on film.
I just can't believe in Persona that he couldn't see at all that the two women might be the same. Like, it blew his mind. And
that, yeah, I emailed him a theory that I had because he called The Seventh Seal an existentialist film. And the way he defined existentialism is that existentialism is the only truth is that you're going to die, and there's no escaping death. That's literally what he said. And I said, well, if that's true, based on your definition, then it can't be an existentialist film, because one of the main characters, Yoff, the actor, saw death playing chess with Antonius Block. What he did was he grabbed his family and he left the party. One party went one way and died. He and his family stayed alive to see death marching them on the dance of death. So he successfully escaped death. And if you have a movie where one of your main characters escapes death, it can't possibly be existentialist. It can be a movie with heavy themes about existentialism, but it can't be existentialist. He actually agreed with me. So, yeah. Haskins, he's not my favorite teacher. It's definitely not my favorite class. But you know what? I'll take him for the rest of the semester.
All right. Well, I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll see you in class, man. Thanks. Anybody else? One more? Two more? Three more? Two? Yeah, we'll take them. Why not? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right. A little gassy because I ate at the hub earlier, but what are you going to do?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, first off, I think you guys got a great show here. I like the format of it.
Thank you. Hey, yeah, if you want, I'm going to have contact information at the end of the show if anybody wants to be on the panel. It's supposed to be three people, yeah. But people had other things to do tonight. Not a big deal. I hold no grudges over that. But we're definitely going to have more people next week, and it's supposed to be basically a three-person show like Bill Maher's show.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely stay tuned for that information.
Okay, cool.
Can I pull you guys into a tangent real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Terminator 3 the other night, and I think a special reconsideration has to be given to this movie, where I feel it wasn't due the justice it deserved. I mean, granted, it wasn't Judgment Day, but I liked it. I thought Arnold was great in that.
I liked it. I thought,
I have a theory on why
Your
Terminator
thought?
3
Yeah.
needed to be made. Is
Yeah.
that if you look at time travel, and if you look at Terminator 2, and he came back in time and destroyed himself. Well, if he destroyed himself in the past, therefore he wasn't alive in the future and never came back, and it couldn't happen. It's a paradox, so there had to be a third one.
The thing is, though, the reason I liked it is because there are so many ways they could have made that movie bad. They had so many ways to make that movie bad, and they didn't. Like, they actually made it a good movie. They had logical explanations that worked within the franchise and that worked within reality. I mean, you can't really find reality in the Terminator, but worked within, you know, a realistic setting.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think it didn't get the due that it deserved. I think it's a good film within the franchise.
It wrapped up the franchise, but
they're making a fourth one.
Oh God!
And from what I heard,
I am not a fan of franchises because if you look at
honestly, I get what you're saying, sir. Where the fact is, they made a third one to better invest their capital and make some more profit off this huge, great thing.
In general, because look at what happened. Did he call me sir? Dude, that's a first.
His name's Justin. My name's Jason.
Like, look at The Matrix. I mean, the first one was great, and the second two sucked.
I absolutely agree.
There was no reason to make them, and that's the problem with franchises, is that when you crank out bad movies... Now, the first two Terminators were great. Oh, they were great films. They worked well together. Some sequels work well together, but... When you start making, are you cutting me off?
No, I'm not cutting you off. I'm smiling at you.
One last quick question, guys. Real quick.
Okay.
You guys looking forward to the new Star Wars? What have you?
I'm trying my best to not look forward to that movie because I looked forward to the last two and they disappointed me. I'm going to try to go in there with a clean slate and try to be as objective as possible.
That's fair.
You know, Star Wars has been letting me down lately, but you still gotta go. It's like, you know, going to church.
All right, we have time for like 2 more short calls.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, by the way, for your information, from what I heard, since Arnold's a governor now, The Rock is supposed to play the Terminator in the next Terminator movie.
Oh, really?
Just a rumor. Next call, if we. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Cut him off. I don't care. I seriously don't care. Do we have any more calls, or can we just move on? We got no more calls. The call-in section is officially over. Thank you for calling in, those who did, and watch the rest of the show. We're going to move on to another topic. We're not going to talk about Sin City because you didn't see it and I didn't see it. We're not going to talk about that because I don't care about it. This is a good one. Pixar versus Disney.
Oh, nice.
Everybody loves Pixar movies. Nobody likes Disney movies anymore. So, apparently Pixar is splitting from Disney, or they have split. They're making maybe 2 movies together. From what I heard, every now and then there's rumors out there that they actually decide to stay together. There are other rumors that said that they are going to be going apart. I'm excited about this split because I love Pixar movies.
So do I.
I have not seen a Pixar movie that I didn't like. I think they're creative. I think they're fun. I think they have everything a Disney movie used to be. Then in the meantime, you've got you got Monsters Inc. going up against Brother Bear. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: A, can Pixar survive without being underneath the Disney umbrella? And B, will the split actually cause Disney to go back to being good?
Disney got rid of their 2D animation studio, and so they're going to focus solely on 3D. So this split is really going to hurt them because they're losing what they have invested their time and energy into in the last 5-10 years. But for them to compete, it's going to force them to go back to what makes good cartoons, which are good stories. And lately, a trend I've been noticing that I'm enjoying is that Disney has been importing and releasing Miyazaki films like Spirited Away, and there are 3 new ones that just came out on DVD. Now, if they can...
But I'm talking about stuff that just comes from their studios.
Well, but if their studios can learn... I mean, these are obviously films that they think have somewhat of a market here. Now, if they're going to move in that direction and start making 2D animated films that are actually epic stories and good stories, then it'll be good for them. As far as Pixar goes, they got nothing to worry about. They have nowhere to go but up. These are the same people that brought you iPods and, kept Mac alive in a world of PCs and Windows. And they are going to survive no matter what.
Did you like The Incredibles?
Yes, I did.
I liked it too.
Great.
I liked it too.
And
but
they do is
what was the alternative this year? No, that Disney came out with. What was the alternative movie that Disney gave? Every single year, Pixar does a movie and Disney does a movie.
And DreamWorks does a few.
Well, DreamWorks, but I'm talking about within Disney. Like, you have Monsters, Inc., and then Disney puts out Brother Bear. You got The Incredibles. What did they put out
Aren't
this year?
they doing Chicken Little or something?
Yeah, but that's this year.
That's
last
year. I don't know.
Who cares? It probably wasn't good enough to remember anyways.
Yeah, Disney has not done a good non-Pixar movie in a while.
Yeah,
And
I'm willing to bet that take one Pixar movie and take any Disney movie in the last, I don't want to say 10 years, because I think Aladdin came out in 95. And their last really good movie came out in 95 that I remember. Say in the last 8 years, and the Pixar film's going to win.
The beautiful thing about Pixar too is that all Disney does for them is distribution, and granted, distribution is a big thing to take care of, but they are very easily going to pick up somebody else to distribute them. And
yeah, it's just, I know it's not going to take Disney down. Nothing's going to take Disney down.
Disney is
right.
very large.
It'll
it's been around forever.
It'll take like the Disney World to turn into the Neverland Ranch for them to take it down.
But we
like
are
I said
seeing
on my poster. We broadcast live from the Neverland Ranch. It's a touching experience.
And so is a trip to Disney World. Do you remember
Indeed.
the dudes in the costumes feeling up kids? That was a big scandal.
No, I didn't hear about that.
It was last summer. But
really,
I digress.
Oh my God,
Disney is having a huge shake-up in their upper echelons as it is. So
thank God Michael Eisner's gone. He's a moron.
They're in a prime position for change, and it's good for them because I think they desperately need a change in their animation studio with the loss of Pixar.
We're going to go to the last topic before we go to free-flowing hostility. It's a simple question. It doesn't even have that much of an opinion. Who deserves a biopic? There have been so many biopics out lately. Actually, a lot of cinema studies students out there have, including me, have participated in being completely butchered by Georgette Jovia, or whatever her last name is, from the Westchester, the newspaper. And there's been a lot. Who do you think deserves a biopic?
I do. I want a biopic of it. I think biopics in general are, I don't know, like, if you're going to do a biography and a documentary, do that. If you're going to do a story, do a story. Why do a story about somebody real? And I don't know. I would rather see a story about common people and everyday people and what their lives are like, as opposed to all these fantastic stories that we always get. And I know people say they go to movies to disappear and to relax and to fantasize, but I mean, if you're gonna take somebody famous like that and do a movie about it, do an actual documentary on it and make it factual.
I'd say Kurt Cobain.
I'd
see the Kurt Cobain biopic. Okay, we're wrapping it up tonight. Just real quick, I just want to say, everybody go out next Thursday. We're going to be on. We're going to be live. We're going to have more people than just Justin. Justin, you are welcome back anytime you want. You know it. You've got my number. We're friends. We don't really hate each other.